But yo, what is up, y'all? My name is Devin, and today I'm gonna be talking about how to build mass. Okay, this is like the big thing that everybody wants to know about. Pointing at my shoulders and my chest because that's where like most trans people, masculine presenting people want to build muscle. So that's why I'm pointing there for that reason. But before I get into that, make sure if you're new here, new as in not subscribed, go ahead and press that subscribe button, even though it's not a button because it's a flat screen, but you get what I'm saying, okay? Go ahead and comment mass in the comment section down below for the algorithm. Like the video, and as always, if you're interested in one-on-one coaching with myself, meal plans or training plans tailored specifically for your needs, for your goals, go ahead and email me, devindiscoaching@gmail.com, which will be in the description down below. Follow me on Instagram, the tag is somewhere over here, and I'm done shoving my shit paws down your throat. Let's get on with the fucking video. I want to lay out a quick disclaimer real quick, okay? And it feels like I'm always doing this, but I feel like it's actually really fucking important. If you are already overweight, if you are already at a high BMI, if you're already at like over 20 to 25% body fat, I don't feel like it is optimal for you to be eating in a caloric surplus. And that's essentially what... Cat, please! Jesus, thank you, sir. If you are already at a high body fat percentage, your body is not optimized to essentially absorb those nutrients. I would suggest with cutting first. So you know if you're overweight, you know if you're a little bit chubby, you should really cut down before you decide to go ahead and go forward with that caloric surplus. So for those who are a little bit overweight, don't feel like you cannot gain muscle. The fact that you are overweight, the fact that you do have a reserve essentially means that your body does have nutrients to grab from, so you can still gain muscle in a caloric deficit, especially if you have not trained before, especially if you haven't really been training intensely with weight, like resistance training. You're also going to get those newbie gains, and then the more weight you lose, you'll be able to actually see that muscle gain. You know, don't feel like I'm telling you to go be a fucking stick. Definitely prioritize high protein, prioritize a moderate amount of carbs, and probably low fat. Everybody is different, but you know, you're trying to cut weight easiest. It's the easiest thing to cut out fat. It has 9 calories per gram, whereas protein and carbs 4 calories per gram. So it's honestly just simpler to cut out fat. I think my cat is like schizophrenic. Is that like a thing? Like, the walls talk to him. So I'm talking specifically to those who are like myself. I'll throw a picture up somewhere over here. I want to always remind you guys that I don't talk out of my ass. I don't just say random ass shit. I'm speaking from a place of, I've been there, I've done that, I did it the sloppy way, I did it the least productive way, and now I can tell you what is the most productive way to get the job done. There are a couple key components that you want to keep in mind when you're trying to build mass, you're trying to build muscle. Being on testosterone, it's a little bit more selective. You will build, for the most part, depending on what your diet looks like, how clean it is, you can build more muscle than fat, but keep in mind, unless you're literally blasting some type of shit, you will be gaining fat alongside that muscle. If you're optimizing the process, you will gain more muscle than fat. But keep that in mind, you're never just going to gain 15 pounds of only muscle. That's not how it works. It's always going to be a different kind of ratio. You could train your ass off all fucking day long and then come home and eat air, eat a peanut, eat an avocado, and then not gain weight. And then you'll wonder to yourself, why am I not gaining weight? I'm literally training like Arnold, which you're probably not. So definitely want to be in a caloric surplus. How do you know if you're in a caloric surplus? The best way to know if you're in a caloric surplus, say for example, my maintenance calories is 2,000 calories. You want to eat in a 500 calorie surplus than that. Now we're getting into the second part of how to build mass. Training. You want to optimize your training. Make sure that you are training hard. The aspect of the training is progressive overload. Use the Notes app and track how much you're lifting, right? So ideally you would be starting off with a compound movement. You want to be able to look back at your app, look back at your notes and see, okay, 2 months ago I was lifting 135 for 5. A month after that I was lifting 135 for 10. Today I can lift 135 for 15. And you want to continue to see that progress, okay? And when you are using that caloric surplus, you're having more carbs, more protein, you're using that for growth. So those extra macronutrients should be essentially used to go absolutely fucking beast mode, absolutely super saiyan mode. All this like, oh, I don't have energy, I didn't sleep good, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, do you want to grow muscle or do you want to just get big and fluffy? Oh, high reps or low reps? Low reps or high reps? You have to incorporate all of them. You have to incorporate a bit of strength to push yourself for that hypertrophy, and you also have to incorporate volume. You want to have different movements allocated for strength, different movements allocated for more volume, and it all plays together in a synergistic manner. The next aspect of building mass is cardio. So this is important. If you're shoving a shit ton of food down your face hole, which you're probably going to do if you want to build size, you're gonna be bloated as fuck, you're gonna have no appetite, and you're just gonna feel like a fucking monster. You're gonna feel like Shrek, okay? The best way to minimize that, the best way to spike your appetite so you actually want to eat those meals, the best way to get your digestion going is by having a higher activity level. You're doing the step for 15 minutes, doing incline treadmill, taking a walk after each meal. You're gonna give your body use for the food that you just ate, so you're not gonna be as bloated, if bloated at all. Cardio plays an important factor in both losing weight and in gaining weight. You just have to utilize it properly. Obviously, you're not gonna be running 500 miles if you're trying to gain weight. It's gonna be suboptimal. So typically like 15 to 20 minutes, maybe even 25 minutes if you really fuck with cardio, will probably be a good range for you. That's typically like the average standard. What am I doing with my hands, bro? The average standard time for cardio, that is a big fucking aspect, okay? So those are the key components you really wanna keep in mind when you're trying to gain mass. I can get into what movements I prefer. And if you've watched my training videos, you know what movements I prefer. Those are the key staple principles that you wanna keep in mind when you wanna get bigger, essentially, right? You wanna have that caloric surplus, you wanna make sure you're applying progressive overload, and you wanna have that cardio in there so that you're not feeling disgusting and bloated like fucking, literally, I don't know who else I could describe. Shrek, like the Hulk, but the Hulk's pretty fucking jacked. Like, so you don't feel like a bloat lord, okay? That is the video, y'all. If you have any questions whatsoever, drop it in the comment section down below. Let me know what videos you want to see from me in the future, even though I already have 50,100 million videos in my head up in there already. But if you have any suggestions, if you have any requests, follow me on Instagram, all that good shit. And like I always say, Devin loves you, Devin's a Don, and Devin is out of here, boy.